Genshin recently collaborated with the Sanxingdui Museum. During the collaboration period, you can access the web event Ancient Treasures Unearthed, where you can learn more about the fascinating pieces displayed in the Sanxingdui Museum. Honestly, this web event alone already made me want to visit the exhibits myself, but seeing Zhongli featured in this event had me thinking. Zhongli himself is a figure shrouded in mystery. He was first introduced as the Wangsheng funeral parlor consultant, then as the Geo Archon. He's also one of the most powerful archons of his time, and he also has a birthday at the end of the year. It's also popularly theorized that he's a dragon sovereign or descender, two of arguably the most mysterious beings in Teyvat so far. But regardless, I think Zhongli was the perfect character to represent this collaboration in more ways than I initially thought. But what does this mean for the lore implications in Genshin Impact? What is the mask that Zhongli holds in his bronze statue? What do the museum pieces displayed in the collaboration art mean for the lore of Genshin? What kind of secrets do they contain? If you're familiar with Genshin lore or Hoyoverse lore, you'll know very well that everything is intentional. The writers have a knack for being incredibly detailed. In this video, we're going to analyze the Genshin Impact and Sanxingdui collaboration and possibly find the answers to some of Zhongli's deepest, darkest secrets. At the end, you'll truly see the level of detail this collaboration has achieved. I'm your leafy lore sharer Minsleif, and I read the Genshin Impact lore so that you don't have to. In the spring of 1929, a farmer discovered a large stash of jade relics while digging a well. Little did he know that this discovery would lead to the excavation of a mysterious ancient kingdom. Sanxingdui contained the ruins of the ancient Shu Kingdom. A metropolis of its time, about 3,000 years ago, Sanxingdui boasted highly developed agricultural and mining systems and produced ceramics and sacrificial tools. The ruins have been recognized as one of the most important ancient remains in the world for their rich and vast cultural content. Sanxingdui translates into 3-star piles. The name refers to the 3 earth mounds at the site, whose discovery attracted international attention and rewrote the history of Chinese civilization. It is said that the Heavenly Emperor cast down 3 handfuls of earth, which fell near the Jian River, and became 3 earth mounds on Chengdu Plain. The 3 earth piles described as 3 golden stars in a line, hence the name Sanxingdui. The Sanxingdui Museum is home to the ancient Shu civilization's most impressive array of bronze relics, one of which is the bronze tree Shenshu, or the God Tree, and it is considered to be the world's largest bronze object at 3.96 meters tall, although experts estimate that it could be around 5 meters tall if fully restored. Archaeologists believe that this tree was a medium through which humans could communicate with the gods, specifically a sun god. Birds were often used to symbolize the sun in ancient Chinese civilizations, and the Shenshu consists of 9 birds perched on top of the branches. The ancient Shu people believed in the legend of the 10 suns, which in Chinese mythology rose from a divine tree called Fusang. They believed the birds carried the other 9 suns so that people could only see one sun in the sky. In their minds, the 9 suns became 9 birds that landed on the holy tree. The Shenshu could be the embodiment of the divine tree Fusang from the legend. The flying dragon, which seems to move downward to the earth, was endowed with the function of communicating between earth and heaven. While conducting my research for this video, I realized how many references Genshin already had to Sanxingdui in very early patches. Version 1.6 introduced a 6th volume of the records of Jueyun, and version 2.6 introduced a solar relic artifact, both of which mention the legend of the solar chariot. In the distant past, while Morax was still young, it was said that a star named the solar chariot fell to Teyvat, creating the chasm. The solar chariot was repaired by the indigenous people in the chasm and then flew back into the sky. The divine tree Fusang could have also been an inspiration behind Genshin's Irminsul tree. According to the lore of Salvin Dagnir, the lost civilization in Dragonspine, the Irminsul tree was used as a means for the civilization to communicate directly with the gods. Rex Lapis would appear in his Exuvia form in Liyue during the yearly rite of descension to give guidance to his people for a prosperous year and dictate trade, an allusion to the dragon of the Shenshu tree. Upon the release of version 4.3, players can redeem the Bronze Curio Ancient Golden Visage. It's a furnishing item that can be placed in your teapot. But look closely at what's in Zhongli's hand. Masks just like this one were distinctively discovered in Sanxingdui. They all have exaggerated facial features and dignified expressions such that archaeologists hypothesize that these masks may have been a way for the ancient Shu people to memorialize their ancestors or gods. Why this mask was chosen specifically for Zhongli to hold is due to his role in the Liyue art conquests. Zhongli was introduced to us as the consultant of the Wangsheng funeral parlor. He was tasked with carrying out the rite of parting, a ceremonial funeral held for deceased adepti or Liyue gods. Researchers have been perplexed trying to theorize the fall of the Sanxingdui civilization, which seemingly disappeared without a trace, leaving behind objects unlike anything found in any other period of Chinese history. Something interesting to note is that there was a theory about Sanxingdui that researchers have had to debunk. In the 1980s, locals in the area alleged that they spotted UFOs near the Sanxingdui ruins, and this sparked the popularity of the urban legend that the creation behind the Sanxingdui relics involved aliens. You see, it was difficult to explain how the Sanxingdui ruins were unlike any other that have been seen before in the world. This theory has obviously been debunked, but I find it funny how Zhongli can't seem to escape related allegations of him being an alien or descender, a being from outside of Teyvat. Let's take a closer look at some of the other relics displayed in Genshin's collaboration art. If you look closely, you'll notice some of the bronze statues seem to depict birds. In addition to the legend of the 10 moons, legends also state that the first 2 kings of the ancient Shu civilization were named after birds. This bronze bird with a crown, according to archaeologists, is not a typical Sanxingdui-style relic, but much similar to the Shanxi and Henan's bronze birds of the same era. This might be seen as proof that the ancient Shu kingdom traded with other districts. I think it's so cool that this is the relic Zhongli was chosen to hold in the collaboration art since it ties so well with his story. During his role as the former Geo-Archon, Zhongli would have descended to Liyue to guide the nation towards the best trading trends for that year. Because of that guidance, Liyue Harbor was considered the most prosperous city and masters in seafaring trade. This relic off to the right of Zhongli appears to be a figure carved to hold elephant tusks. The Sanxingdui culture clearly prized elephant tusks, as during the ruins excavation, there was an area uncovered revealing a whole stack of elephant tusks. The sacrificial pits where these relics have been discovered are believed to have been sites for the ancient Shu people to offer sacrifices to heaven, earth, mountains, rivers, and other gods. In 2021, a recent discovery was made regarding the ancient Shu kingdom. A 3,000-year-old gold mask and silk were found to be linked to this enigmatic Chinese civilization. A major highlight from this recent discovery is a 0.6-pound fragment of a gold mask. It contains approximately 84% pure gold and weighs close to 1 pound, making it one of the heaviest gold masks ever discovered, originating from that era in China. According to a statement from China's National Cultural Heritage Administration, other discoveries made at the site included 2 kinds of silk. The first was found scattered among the ashes in one of the pits, while the second was found wrapped around bronze objects. Silk has played an important role in China's millennia-old history. As the statement points out, the ancient inhabitants of Sanxingdui probably wore silk garments during sacrificial ceremonies. The fiber was thought to serve as a carrier and medium for communication between heaven, earth, man, and God. Something to note about the Shu state is that the highly skilled civilization left behind very few written records. Therefore, knowledge of their culture thus far has been very limited. Because of how important silk was in this time period, it's theorized that the ancient Shu people may have written on silk for their ancient rituals. Unfortunately, since silk degrades easily, procuring written records has been extremely difficult. If written records are discovered at Sanxingdui one day, it will be a game changer for Chinese archaeology. Finally, these writings would enable the ancient civilization to express itself with its own voice. I'm personally such a huge fan of Genshin's collaboration with the Sanxingdui Museum, and it renewed my incredible appreciation for Genshin's writing and attention to historical detail. Details like these are exactly what keeps a lore keeper like me on her toes. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm your leafy lore streamer Minsleif, and I read the Genshin Impact lore so that you don't have to.